Hey kids! Before we get started with learning and playing music, I'd like to give you a quick intro. The reason behind this introduction is so you can skip around to different sections of the video easily, otherwise you might be bored watching 30 minutes straight. Here's how the video is laid out with the times for each section. There are 10 different parts in this video, which I will go over next. For the first part, we will cover the two main elements of music. The second part, we look into the musical alphabet. Third part, we study the two main different types of clefs. Fourth part, we actually dive into reading musical notes on a treble staff. The fifth part is the same as the fourth part, but we learn how to read music on the bass clef instead. Sixth part, we explain rhythm by studying beats. In the seventh part, I explain how you can play music on a computer, tablet, or phone. In the eighth part, you actually learn how to play your first song, which is Mary Had a Little Lamb. We do a very in-depth study of this song just to warn you, but it prepares you for learning more songs. My favorite parts of the video are 9 and 10, where you actually learn how to play some really fun and cool songs. In the ninth part, you will learn your first 5 songs, which are Indian Dance, Ode to Joy, Jingle Bells, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and You Are My Sunshine. 10th part, you will learn how to play 4 more songs, which are Happy Birthday, Amazing Grace, We Wish You a Merry Christmas, and Rain Rain Go Away. So let's get started in not only learning how to read music, but also playing it too. One last quick note. It is important you download the PDF file that goes along with this video before you begin playing the actual songs. You can access the booklet at jamguitar.com/downloads. Click on Digital Keyboard for Kids. The password is ABC123. I encourage you to download the PDF file and print it before you begin playing any of the songs. For the first part, we are going to look into the two main elements of music. These elements are pitch and rhythm. Pitch is very easy to understand. It is either how low or how high a sound is. Rhythm involves time, which is the length of a sound. For example, beats on a drum. Let's play a fun little game to understand pitch and rhythm better. First, looking into pitch, I want you to tell me which sounds are low and which sounds are high. Are you ready? This is the first sound. Low? You're right. This next sound, is it low or high? Good job. That's a high sound. What about this third sound? It's actually both. The engine is low and the horn is high. Next part of the game is a little harder. This time we are going to hear if the sound is high or low, plus if the time is long or short. We are going to use notes from a piano to demonstrate this first sound. You're right! The sound is low and the time is long. Next sound. If you guess high and short, you are right. The sound is high and the notes are played quickly. Alright, last one. Did you guess right? The sound is low and the notes are short and quick. I hope you enjoy this game. Now we are ready to start learning the musical alphabet. In reading musical notes, it's just like reading the alphabet. Except the musical alphabet is much shorter with only 7 letters, rather than 26 letters. It only goes from letters A to G, instead of going to letter H. It just keeps repeating A through G. You might be asking, why does the musical alphabet repeat? This is a very good question, because in music, you can be playing the same note, but at a different pitch. For example, a man singing an A note,
La,
or a girl singing an A note?
la,
Do you notice the difference?
la.
They are singing the same note, but at different pitches. As you go forward in the musical alphabet, the sound gets higher. However, as you go backwards, we start going down and the sound gets lower. The first thing you would notice on reading music are the clefs. There are two basic clefs in a musical sheet. We have the treble clef and the bass clef. There are other types of clefs, but for studying the piano, we are only looking at the treble and bass. The left hand plays the bass clef, while the right hand plays the treble clef. What is interesting is the treble clef was first called the G clef, because it shows where the G note is placed. Isn't that cool? It's almost like a target. When you read a musical sheet, the treble clef is placed on the staff. What is a staff? Staff is a set of 5 horizontal lines in 4 spaces. Let's count the lines together from bottom to top. Line number 1, line number 2, line number 3, line number 4, and line number 5. Now let's count the spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 2 types of notes that are applied to lines and spaces: space notes and line notes. We are going to start with the line notes. As you see, the line notes are right on top of the lines. We have the same number of lines and notes. We have 5 line notes and 5 lines. With space notes, they are right in between the lines. As you can see, there are 4 space notes and 4 notes. Let's start with line notes on the treble clef. We have E, G, B, D, and F. Here is an easy phrase to remember those notes: every, green, bus, drives, fast. Let's repeat that again. Every, green, bus, drives, fast. E for every, G for green, B for bus, D for drives, and F for fast. Looking at the space notes, we have 4 spaces, so we have 4 notes. What is really cool about space notes is they spell the word face. F, A, C, and E. Next, let's look at the bass clef. With the bass clef, we have the same 5 lines, but the notes are different. We have G, B, D, F, and A. A very easy way to remember this is good, burgers, deserve, fries, always. How many of you love your hamburgers with fries? I sure do. I don't find a meal complete unless I have the burgers and fries together. So we have good for G, burgers for B, deserve for D, and fries for F, and A for always. The letters again are G, B, D, F, and A. Those are the line notes. Now let's look at the space in the bass clef. Again, we have 4 spaces, so we have 4 space notes. Those notes are A, C, E, and G. An easy way to remember this is all, cows, eat, grass. A for all, C for cows, B for eat, and G for grass. Congratulations! Now you know all the line space notes for both the treble clef and bass clef. Another important subject of pitch is called accidents. Accidents include sharps, flats, and naturals. A sharp raises a note one semitone. A flat lowers a note one semitone. A natural cancels sharps and flat. Let's watch the sharps go up the keyboard. C goes up to C sharp, D to D sharp, E to F. E does not go up to E sharp since it's a white key. F to F sharp, G to G sharp, and A to A sharp. Now we are going down the piano keys using flats. B down the B flat, A down to A flat, G down the G flat, F goes down to E rather than F flat since there's no black keys in between. E to E flat, and D to D flat. A natural cancels out a sharp or a flat. A D flat is canceled by a D natural. And F sharp is canceled by F natural. Rhythm. We have learned so much about pitch and names of musical notes. Now we are ready to look at the second basic element of music, which is rhythm. All musical notes we just studied follow a beat. A beat follows a pace of a song, just like your heartbeat. One helpful tool in keeping a beat is called a metronome. A metronome sounds like this. You can tell how many beats a note's supposed to last from its shape. This is a whole note. A whole note lasts 4 beats, like this. This is a dotted half note. A dotted half note gets 3 beats like this. If you take away the dot, it's called a half note. A half note gets 2 beats. It sounds like this. 2 half notes equal a whole note. This is a quarter note. It just lasts 1 beat. Quick question. How many quarter notes does it take to equal a whole note? Let's use this apple pie diagram to help you. I hope you don't get hungry seeing all this food. If you said 4 quarter notes, you are right. It takes 4 quarter notes to equal a whole note. This is an eighth note. Most of the time they are shown in sets of 2. An eighth note lasts half a beat. 2 notes sound like this. 8 eighth notes equals 1 whole note. We also have rest in music, which means silence in music. Just like the note names, they have the same time and rest. Let's play a fun game together called Name That Note. Guess what this note is by hearing the beats. Here it is again. One last time. You're right. It's a quarter note. How about this note? Let's repeat that again for you. If you guess a whole note, you're right. What about this note? How many beats did you hear? Let's repeat that again for you. Awesome! Yes, it is a half note, and that gets 2 beats. This is the last note. What does it do when you add the dot? You're right. The dot gives it 3 beats, so it's called a dotted half note. Here's another fun exercise. All you need to do is clap your hands like this. When you see a note on the screen, clap how many beats it gets. First one, whole note. If you clap 4 times, you're right. The second one, quarter note. If you clapped 1 time, you're right. One last note, half note. Did you clap 2 times? If you did, you're right again. Did you score all 3 points? I hope you did. A couple more things about rhythm before we begin playing. Let's take a look into how music is divided up rhythmically. A musical staff is divided into groupings of beats into what is called measures. We figure out how many beats each measure gets by the 2 numbers placed next to the staff, which in this case is the treble staff. This is a 4/4 time signature. What this means is there are 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If the top number of the time signature was 3, it would be 3 beats per measure. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's put a whole note in the first measure and see what happens. Since the whole note has 4 beats and we have a 4/4 time signature, if you put 2 half notes in place of a whole note, it would take 2 half notes to fill the measure. This is how it matches up if we put a whole note in the second measure. If there are 4 beats per measure, how many quarter notes would it take to fill the first measure? If you said 4, you're right. What if we put 2 quarter notes and 1 half note in the second measure? How many beats would we get? 4 beats is the answer. Here is a quick chart to show everything we just studied in rhythm. I hope you find it helpful with your study of reading music. Let's start playing music. If you don't have a piano or keyboard, do not worry about it. This video is actually designed for those who do not have a tangible instrument. Of course, if you already own a keyboard or piano, it would be best to use that. However, as the title mentions, you do not need an instrument to learn how to play music. As long as you have a computer or a phone, you can start playing music today. There are 2 different applications I recommend. If you would like to use a computer, I would recommend the piano application from virtualpiano.net. I recommend this as my first choice since it is easier to play using a computer's keyboard than a touchscreen. Here is a sample of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star being played from virtualpiano.net. If you would rather use a phone or tablet, then the top app I recommend would be Perfect Piano. This app is free and you can download it on any Android or Apple device. Here is a sample of Happy Birthday being played from the app Perfect Piano. To help you with your journal and playing music, we have provided some useful guides. Each song is played at speed that is very easy to understand. The songs being played displayed what piano key is being played along with what notes is being played above. We also provide a PDF file with each song that has the note names written inside the piano notes along with the lyrics. You can access that booklet at jamguitar.com/downloads. Click on Digital Keyboard for Kids. The password is ABC123. I encourage you to download this PDF file and even print it before we begin playing a song. Since Mary Had a Little Lamb is the easiest song to play out of our list, we are going to cover this song in much greater depth than the other songs. We encourage you to learn this song first, which will give you a better understanding of how to play the other songs in our video. First, let's look at the PDF file of Mary Had a Little Lamb. The first thing you would notice below the title of the song is the number 100. This tells you the speed the song needs to be played at. The higher the number, the faster the song will be played. And vice versa, the lower number, the lower the song will be played. Next, you see a treble clef with 4/4, which means there are 4 beats per measure. If I played only the top lines of the song, which is 2 measures, there are 8 beats total. Here are the first 2 measures being played with the metronome. In the first measure, we have 4 quarter notes, which means each note gets 1 beat. In the second measure, we have 2 quarter notes and 1 half note. The half note gets 2 beats. Here is the whole song being played with the beats in the background. Now that we cover the beats, let's look at the notes. I am going to play the song at half speed, so it is easier to follow along. In the first measure, we have 4 notes: E, D, C, and D. The second measure, we have 3 notes, and those notes are very easy to play because you just repeat the same 3 notes, which are E, E, and E. The second line you see a number 3. This means we are now on the third measure. The third measure is exactly the same as the second measure, except we are playing 3 D notes instead of 3 E notes. Fourth measure we play E, then G. Each is a quarter note, the G again as a half note. For the fifth measure, it is exactly the same as the first measure. The next line you will see a 6, which means the sixth measure. This means it is very easy to play the E note 4 times. The last line you will see a 7, also an easy measure. The D note twice, and then E and back to D. The last measure, which is the 8th measure, ends with 1 note, which is a C. This note is a whole note. Congrats! You just finished learning your first song. With the rest of the songs covered in this video, we are going to start with the easiest song and the most difficult one at the end. Now we will play Mary Had a Little Lamb for you 2 more times. First with the beats, then second time without the beats. Now the fun part, learning 9 more songs. A small bit of information will be discussed before the actual song is played. We will start with the easiest song and end with the most difficult one. The first 5 songs are written in 4/4 time, which means each song receives 4 beats per measure. Let's get started. Indian Dance. This song has an awesome rhythm. This song will be played with the metronome in the background to help hear the rhythm being played. Indian Dance is so simple to play because you only have to worry about quarter notes and whole notes. Ode to Joy. This classical song was written almost 200 years ago. There are only 2 things I would like to point out. The dotted quarter notes receive 3 beats. You can see that on measure 4, 8, and the last measure 16. The next thing is measure 12. You will see a G note that is very low and has 2 lines above it. This type of note is called a ledger note. Jingle Bells. This is one of the best known Christmas songs in the world. Only working with quarter notes, half notes, and whole notes makes this song very easy to learn. This is the perfect song to learn for holiday season. Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. I remember as a child, this was one of the first songs I learned how to play on the piano. Now here is your chance to learn how to play it too. Again, a very easy song to learn, only working with quarter notes and half notes. You Are My Sunshine. The only thing I need to point out in this song is to watch out for measure 3. As you can see, there is a B flat being played and returns back to B natural, with the symbol in front.
The next three songs, Happy Birthday, Amazing Grace, and We Wish You a Merry Christmas, are all written in 3/4 time, which means you are playing 3 beats per measure. Happy Birthday. Do you have any friends or family whose birthday is coming up and in need of a gift to give them? Well, you're in luck. This would be the perfect gift to give them by learning and playing the song for them. Amazing Grace. This song is an oldie, but a goodie, one of my all-time favorites. If you look at the time signature, you will notice there is a sharp on the F line, which means all F notes receive a sharp. Luckily, for this song, there are no F notes played, so you don't have to worry about it. We Wish You a Merry Christmas. Just like Amazing Grace, this song also has a sharp in the time signature in the same spot. So all the F notes receive a sharp. In the musical sheet, we have marked all F notes with a sharp to help you out. Rain, Rain, Go Away. We saved this song for last because you're going to be learning how to play the bass clef along with the treble clef. This is a very easy song to play, but will require using both hands to play instead of just the right hand. Also, it has a 2/2 time signature, which means you get 2 beats per measure. We are going to play again with the bass clef notes being played. You now know how to play the piano on your computer, phone, or tablet. I hope from watching and practicing these songs that you can now show off to your friends that you can now play music.